So hello everyone, this is Priyanshu Gupta here. So in this video, I will be adding a Razorpay payment gateway to our Django project. And this is the final outcome of what we are going to make in this video. And in this video, I have used the same Django project which we are using in our Mastering Django series, in which I have uploaded 20 videos till now. You can check out that on my channel. Reason for choosing the same Django project in this video is that I will be targeting two use cases at once. One is adding a payment gateway to any kind of scenario, any kind of website. And second is adding a payment gateway to a e-commerce website that we are making on our Mastering Django series. And in Mastering Django series also, we are not limited to any e-commerce website, but to show you implementation and application and to explain you with examples, I'm taking reference with e-commerce website so that you can understand and actually see how the things are implemented in a real-time scenario. I will be adding this video in that series called Mastering Django, as well as I am going to make a separate playlist for this, which is going to be adding payment gateway, in which I will be uploading more videos in future regarding more payment gateway. So in that new playlist, which is going to be adding payment gateway, I will be adding more videos in future which are related to different kinds of payment gateway, because in this video I am restricting myself to Razorpay only, but in future I will be adding more payment gateway interface as well. So this is the final outcome, and now I'm going to show you how it works. So this is our cart page, and here I have added two products. One is BlackBerry suit and one is Puma jacket, and of BlackBerry suit I have added the quantity 10. So the total cost of these products is 85,000, because 8,000 into 10 plus 5,000, which is equals to 85,000. So now if I click on this proceed for payment button, then what it will do, it will display me a payment summary page on which there is a button called pay now. And if I go to my admin panel of Django project now and refresh this order page, you can see one record has been established here. And if I click on this, so basically this a@gmail.com is that the user email ID with which he has logged in. Okay. And this is the primary key. So if I click on this, then it will show me different types of attributes that I have added in this model called order, in which there is a user, because each order is linked to a user who has been logged into our website. And if you want to make this a non-login based payment gateway, then you can remove and adjust these attributes according to yourself. And this is the status of our order, which is not packed. So basically there are four options here. Then the total amount, which is 85,000, and this payment status. So it has three types of options, which is pending, success, failure, and currently it is in pending state because user had not paid till now. And this is the order ID, which is a unique order ID which we will generate with each order, respective to each order. So this is the order ID which we are generating by our own, and this is the date time of payment. And then these three attributes are specific to Razorpay. So this is Razorpay order ID, Razorpay payment ID, and Razorpay signature. And how these works and what is the functioning of these three attributes, I will be explaining you later on. And these are products in order. So basically I have made a separate table for product and orders, in which I have added a foreign key of order. I am linking each product in order with the order that I am making in this table called order. And I have used a tabular inline for displaying all the products respective to these orders in this. If you want to understand how the tabular inline works in admin panel, then you can check out my video on my channel, which is customizing the admin panel. And here you can see all the products here. So you can manage all these things very simply. Now proceeding further, if I click on this pay now button, then a Razorpay payment gateway interface will be displayed, which I have integrated in this project. Now Razorpay will ask the user who is making the payment to enter his phone number and this email ID. And if you add this phone number from backend, you can add this on your own also. So it's all depends on you how you are adding this phone number and email from this, because these two fields can be edited by user as well. So if I write the phone number here, which is a dummy phone number, I am writing any phone number here because currently this Razorpay payment interface is currently in test mode, as you can see here. So any kind of transaction that you make here will not be reflected in real time scenario. So if I click on this proceed, then it will display me this interface and will provide me certain options for doing the payment. Like it provides me UPI, card payment, net banking and wallet. And if I click on this net banking, it will display me different kinds of banks. And if I click on this Axis, then click on this pay 85,000, then it will display me a dummy display page. And if I click on this success, it will automatically do the payment. And the payment is not being done in a real time. It is just a dummy to show you, so as to help a developer to successfully integrate this Razorpay payment gateway in his or her project. And now I have added this payment success page that congratulations, you have successfully done the payment. Your order will reach to you in 5 days. And now if you go to this orders admin panel, then if I refresh this, then you will see certain changes in this. You will see that there is a Razorpay payment ID. You will see a Razorpay signature which has been added by Razorpay here. So how to add this functionality? So before proceeding further, do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel, those who have not subscribed till yet, because I am trying to cover each and every test case and scenario possible. And my only goal is to help all those who want to make a real-time application, and I am trying to cover each and everything which needs to be considered while developing a real-time application. I also want to handle all these questions and all the queries that you have in your mind, so that we can have a healthy discussion and help each other to progress. Okay, so do subscribe to my channel and do connect with me. You can share any queries and questions that you are having in your mind. So let's discuss with each other and grow with each other. So without wasting time, let's get started. So I have opened the code in my VS Code, and this is the first view that will be called as soon as we click on that proceed button. So if I go back to my display cart page, and here as you can see the button here, proceed for payment. So as soon as I click on this proceed for payment, this will call one endpoint of my website that is called define payment, and this is a function that will be called here. And in this view I have used a login required decorator. So this view will be called only if the user is logged in. If he is not logged in, then he will be displayed a login interface that I have included in my website. So before proceeding, you also have to do one thing which is called pip install Razorpay, and in this way Razorpay will get installed in your virtual environment of your Python. Then I have defined this function called payment, in which I am taking this like if request.method double equals to post, then all the things will process. And this part is basically to calculate the final price for the order that I am making on this website. This is basically to get all the products from the cart that a user has. So I am getting this cart object which is respective to the user that has logged in on my website. So what I'm doing is I'm doing cart.objects.get user equals to request.user, and then I am getting all the products that are present in its cart. Here I am doing product in cart.objects.filter cart equals to cart, and now currently I have made this final price equal to 0. And now if this length of product in cart is greater than 0, then I will proceed further. And if cart is empty, then it will return an HTTP response, no product in cart. And also if there is no cart object in the database, then also it will return no product in cart. Because if user has not pressed add to cart till now, like not even for a single time, then his cart will not be made in our cart table. And if length of product in cart is greater than 0, then I will create a new record in our order table, which is order.objects.create user equals to request.user and total amount equals to 0, because currently the final price is 0. As soon as we iterate through all the products, we will update this total amount field. So now I will iterate in this products in cart, and I will get one product from product in cart, and then I will create a respective record in product in order table respective to each product in cart, and I will link that record to the order that we have made now, order equals to order.objects.create, and then I will specify that field here, then product equals to product.product, because in models.py what I have done is I have linked the product in cart table to the product, which is through foreign key, because I have made a separate table called product here, which is this, which contains all the attributes. So here I have specified this product equals to models dot foreign key. So that's how I am accessing this foreign key here through product dot product, and this quantity equals to product dot quantity, and then price equals to product dot price, because I'm not storing the price in cart, because maybe like the user has added the product in his cart and later on the product's price has been changed, so it's not healthy to store the redundant data stored in this product table. So I will be parsing this price from this product table only. So here using this I am parsing this price, and then I am calculating the final price through this formula. Final price equals to final price plus product dot price into product dot quantity. And then after calculating the final price, I will update this order dot total amount equals to final price, and then I will do order dot save. And this order dot save is very important to call after you have created the order object in this table, because I have done one thing here which you will see here, which is I have configured this define save method, in which what I am doing is if self.order id is none and self.datetime of payment and self.id. So for generating the order id which is unique to every order, which will be displayed to user, because as soon as we purchase something on an e-commerce website or an online website or do any kind of payment, they generate some order id with that, and that order id is given to user with which he can raise any queries or ask for any doubts or queries regarding to that particular product. So to identify that order uniquely, we have to provide some order ID to the user. So we are generating this order ID using this function which I have defined here. So basically I'm using define save. I am overriding this method and I am adding some extra functionality to this function which is here. So this function demands self ID, self.id to be existing. Okay, this self.id should be there in order to proceed. So when I do this order.object.create, or I create the order object for the first time, then the ID is not there, because ID will be generated once the database record has been created, because it is our primary key self.id, which is the auto field which is automatically get added once the record is added to the database. So for the first time the self.id will not be there. So we have to use this order.save method again to create this order id, because when we call the save method for the second time, then this will function and then it will see this self.id, and we will be using the self.id to generate the order id, because we have to provide some unique parameter in this order id to uniquely identify the order in the database. So I am using this self.datetime of payment dot this plus str self.id. So I am using this date time of payment, which is time zone dot now. Like as soon as the user clicks on that proceed for payment, then this date time of payment will be entered in the database, and then I will append this to self.id, and then our order id will generate. And this is the order id that I have shown you in my admin panel. This is the order id in this format. You can also customize this on your own. Like suppose you want to change this pay to me or something like that, you can add the string here on your own. After saving this, after also updating this final price here, the final price here, the total respective to this total amount, then we will proceed further. And this is all the stuff which is specific to Razorpay. So the processing that we have done here is limited to the use case and scenario that I have used. So you can customize this all these things and then add this, which is going to be same for all the test cases and scenarios. So we have to provide one callback URL. And what is the use of this callback URL, I will explain you later on. And this is for notes. Like if you want to write some notes here, like you have to add some details, like some more details you want to specify, then you can add this here. You can also write you can also add any type of key here, like key, and provide its value here. So it's basically just to add some details for that specific order. You can add this on your own, or you can also remove this. It's of no use. If it's of no use for you. Now we will use this Razorpay client, and this Razorpay client I have used this, like Razorpay client equals to Razorpay.client auth equals to. So you need two things here, Razorpay ID and Razorpay account ID. So how you will get these? you have to go to Razorpay, you have to make an account there, and I have already made an account on Razorpay, which I will show you now. So if I go to Razorpay now, and if I go to login and enter my credentials here, so after you have created the account here on Razorpay and after you have logged in, then you will be displayed this interface of Razorpay, which is a very good interface. You can easily manage all the payments from this interface. And now currently I'm on test mode, and once you have successfully integrated your Razorpay to your project, then you can switch to live mode. Okay, because currently I'm in test mode, then all the payments will be done there, will not be reflected in my real bank account. So even there is no need to provide your bank details if you are on test mode. So you can easily develop your application and integrate this Razorpay. And once you have done all the things successfully, then if you switch to live mode, then you have to provide certain details of your bank in which you want your payments to come. So now I am on test mode here. So for test mode, I will go to my settings, and here there are API keys. So basically these are test API keys which you will generate. Like if I click on this regenerate test key, then it will generate a new test key here, and it will be shown you for the single time this Razorpay ID, and this Razorpay account ID will be shown you only for single time. So you have to copy all these things here in your settings.py file, which I will show you now. So these are the Razorpay things. So this is the Razorpay ID that is shown here, this Razorpay ID, and this is the Razorpay account ID which will be displayed you only a single time, which you have to save somewhere safe, and then you can add this Razorpay account ID in your settings.py file. And then I will be using this Razorpay client, razorpay.client auth equals to settings.razorpay ID, comma settings.razorpay account ID. And then I will be using this Razorpay client for generating the payment. So this is the way you call the API for Razorpay. So I am calling one API here called Razorpay order equals to Razorpay client.order.create. And since we have pip installed Razorpay here, so it will so this command will do all the pre-processing in backend and will generate one API to make the payment. And then here I will provide all the stuff in a dictionary format. Here you have to provide amount equals to final price into 100. So basically Razorpay works with Paisa. Okay, you have to provide your amount in Paisa, not in rupees, in Paisa, because Paisa is a limited amount for INR. If you have provided the order currency here as INR, then you have to provide all the things in Paisa. Now you will provide this amount in final price equal into 100, then currency equals to order currency, then notes that you have added, extra notes which is not compulsory, and then receipt equals to order.order ID. So this is very important. You have to specify the order ID that you have generated uniquely for the order that you have entered in your database. You have to provide that order ID in this receipt, and then payment capture equals to 0. Then further you will do, and when the Razorpay order is successfully created, it will give us a Razorpay order ID. So now we will enter this Razorpay order ID which we have added in our order model. So this is the Razorpay order ID. We will place this Razorpay ID that we have received from this. So we will store this in this order model and again do the order.save, and then we will render the payment summary razorpay.html, and in which we will pass the order that we have created, and then this order ID, then this order ID, order.order ID, and this final price, and this Razorpay merchant ID. So we have to provide this attribute called Razorpay merchant ID in the context data, which is settings.razorpay ID. You have to keep this Razorpay account ID very safe, and this is very important. You should not provide this Razorpay account ID accessible to the users at any cost. You should not render this Razorpay account ID to front end at any cost. However, you can use this, you have to provide this Razorpay ID in front end, and remember one thing, you must not provide that Razorpay account ID in front end. Okay, and then we will pass this callback URL. Okay, so once you have rendered all these things, so basically this payment summary pages look like this. So here I have provided this total amount, order.total amount. So this order is basically nothing but the order which we have created here, and I am passing that in context data. So I am using that order to get that total amount, and then I have added one button called Razorpay button. On clicking this pay now button, this JavaScript functions. And this JavaScript, I have copied all these things from the Razorpay docs to integrate the Razorpay gateway to Python. Okay, so these are all the things that you have to mention while calling this, and you have to include this script called razorpay.com/v1/checkout.js, and you have to provide various options here like key, amount. So in key you have to provide Razorpay merchant ID. In amount you have to provide the final price, and in final price, so why I have done this with ratio final price 100, because in final price I have passed the attribute directly, like I have not multiplied here with 100. I am providing the final price in rupees in context data, so that's why to convert that into paisa I have to use this with ratio final price 100 to multiply the final price into 100 to convert the rupees into paise, and I'm using this Django template tag for doing this, but you can do this in your own way as well. Now I have to specify this currency here, INR, then name Wondershop, because I have named this e-commerce website as Wondershop, then description, then order ID, and this order ID is not the order ID that you have created by your own. This order ID is the Razorpay order ID that you have got after you have called this API through Razorpay client.order.create. After that, you have got this order ID called Razorpay order ID, and then you will be using this here in payment summary page order ID, and then you have to provide the callback URL, and then you have to use this prefill. So I was showing you na that name, email, contact that are being, like, as soon as I click on this pay now button, it will display me this phone and email. So this email is already pre-filled. So how it is getting pre-filled? So I am getting this from here, request.user.email. I am getting this from backend, like I am using the template tag here for Django, request.user.email. You can fill these fields on your own way as you want, but I am getting all these details using this request object, and then I am getting this name from request.user.name, and then contact number. But in database, what is happening is, like, I have not added the phone number of this user a@gmail.com. I have not added the phone number here, so that's why it's asking me to fill the phone number here, and then it will ask you to proceed, but it's necessary to provide the phone number here. So that's why. And for choosing the color, because the color that I have chosen here, like green, so I have to provide the hex code of this here. You can also customize this in your settings file of Razorpay. Like, suppose if you do not want to provide all these things here, like theme and this name Wondershop, and also the image of Wondershop, like if you want to add the image of your logo here of this of your website, and also to customize all these things, you can also, what you can do is you can go to the Razorpay dashboard, and in your settings file you have to go to this configuration, and here you can add the theme color, then your logo you can choose photo from here, and then you can change the language as well. So all these things. Okay, so from here also you can customize, and from there also you can customize, but if you customize from here, then this will be given the preference. And what you have not mentioned here, that settings will be taken that you have provided in your configuration settings on your Razorpay dashboard. And then you will create this variable called rzp1 equals to new Razorpay options, and then document.getElementById. by ID. So once you click this Razorpay button, so I have provided this button the ID as this, and then you will get element by ID through this, and then on click equals to, you will call this function rzp1.open e.prevent default. So after providing the phone number, as soon as you click this proceed and click on any payment options here, and if you click on this and pay 85,000 rupees, and once it's successful, then what it will do is it will call one API and do all the processing in backend. Like Razorpay, it's the work of Razorpay to handle all the processing in backend, and then what it will do is, after, if it's successful, all the things go smoothly, like all the things work properly, then what it will do is it will call the callback URL that you have mentioned here. It will call this callback URL, and we have provided the callback URL here as this one, handle request. So after all the things have gone smoothly, then Razorpay will handle all the stuff, like to fail that payment, to make that payment successful. So all the work is of Razorpay. But after the payment is successfully accepted, like after it comes to your bank account, then the Razorpay will call this callback URL which you have specified here, which is handle request, And for handle request, I have called the function here called this handle request. And this is also very important. You have to use this @csrf exempt decorator for this URL because this API will be called by Razorpay, so there will be no CSRF token there. So we have to use this decorator called CSRF exempt, and then this is the post request. So and for post request, Django demands a CSRF token if you are using a CSRF middleware to prevent your website from CSRF attacks. So if all the things work properly, like the work done by Razorpay works successfully, then what it will do is it will return the payment ID, order ID, and signature. And the signature is for verifying. Okay, the signature is for verifying. So it performs some algorithm here. It uses some algorithm here to verify, and then you will use this params dict, in which you will provide the Razorpay order ID as order ID, then Razorpay payment ID, Razorpay signature, and then you will do this try. So in this try, you will get the order from the database using this order ID called Razorpay order ID, because Razorpay order ID will also be unique. And then if you do not receive any order from there, then you will get one HTTP response of 5 not found. And then you will use this payment ID and signature, and you will save this, because it's necessary to save all these details, because in future it will be helpful for you to match the details from Razorpay. Okay, so it's important to store somewhere. Now what you will do is you will find that result is successful or not, because it's possible that payment has gone unsuccessful, or the amount in the user's account is not enough to do the payment, or maybe the payment got cancelled due to some reasons in between. So to handle all that stuff here, what you have to do is you will call this function called Razorpay client.utility.verify payment signature. Like this is basically for verifying the payment that it has been done successfully or not, or it got cancelled due to some reasons, or it got interfered by some third person in between. So all the things are getting checked by this function called verify payment signature. And then you will pass this params dict here to this function, and then if result is none, if result double equals to none, then it means that the payment has been done successfully and nothing has been interfered in between, nor the payment has been cancelled in between due to some reasons. So if result double equals to none, then amount equals to order db.total amount into 100. We have to pass in paisa, and then what you have to do is you have to capture that amount. You have to capture that payment. So what you will do is you will do Razorpay client.payment.capture by passing the payment ID comma amount here, and then after that, if it's successful, then you will do order db.payment status equals to 1, and in 1 means success. So you will do this one to update the order details in your database, and then you will save, and then you will render this payment success page, which is nothing but congratulations, you have done the payment. Okay, and then if there is error in this capturing, then again you will do this payment status equals to 2, which is this payment failed.html. Sorry, your payment has been failed, please try again. In case your money has been deducted, money will be auto refunded in 7 to 10 days. So this auto refund process will also be done by Razorpay itself. Like if the payment got deducted from the user's account and the payment is not successful, then Razorpay will refund the amount by itself also. So you don't have to take care of that condition as well. That will all be handled by Razorpay itself. That's why I like Razorpay. Then the order status will be changed to 2, that is failed. On second there is failure, and then it will be getting saved. And if result double equals to none, if result double equals to none is not there, then also we will change the status to 2, that is failure, and then we will save to database. And then also we will generate this HTML file, which is payment failed.html. Okay, and if nothing is getting, like if someone is directly trying to access this handle request through post method, then he will not be getting this payment ID, order ID, and signature. Then he will get one HTTP response, that is 505 not found. So this is how our whole functioning works. So in this way we have added the payment gateway to our Django project. So this is it. We have handled all the test case and scenarios possible here. You can also customize all these things here, and something here to get the order and all that stuff. You can customize this on your own. to handle your situation, but the basic details that I have mentioned here will be going to be same in every scenario. So once this handle request works successfully, then you will get all the details here like order ID, payment ID and signature as well. And also your payment status will be updated accordingly. So to access the code which I have provided here, I will also provide the GitHub link with which you can access the code. So this is all this in this video. I hope you like the video. So if you found this video helpful and informative, do hit the like button and do subscribe to my channel. I am again repeating this. Please provide some support. I am giving my 200% to make videos for you, to make content for you, because I am trying to cover each and every test case and each and every critical point possible, because I have also gone through the same process that you are going on. I also tried to search various tutorials on internet, but I couldn't find the exact tutorial which tries to handle each and every test case and scenarios. So that's why I'm providing you this video. So do provide some support, do subscribe to my channel, keep connected, and do ping me on Instagram if you have any queries or doubts. Do tell me in comment section box that how you like the video. So stay tuned, keep connected. Thank you everyone. See you next time.